Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our YouTube live channel, Trending Thursdays. My name is Glenn Tompkins. I'm a senior instructor here at VectorVest. Truly my pleasure to be here. If you can hear me, by all means, please respond with VV Nation to let me know that everything is coming across loud and clear and that the technology is working. A lot of people in the room. That's a beautiful thing. I'm loving that. VV Nation is showing out today. But we're going to rock and roll and make some money. All right, that's what it's all about. Trending Thursdays, for those of you who may be new, is all about stocks making the news. We use the power of the VectorVest software to help us to determine if those are good plays or not, or stocks to stay away from. So the VectorVest software plays a crucial role in helping us to determine the stocks that make the news. And now, is this news driven? Does it move up? Does it move down? The VectorVest software will help us to answer those questions. And that was for the benefit of the new people. For all my regulars, thank you for being here. And you know something? Let's get hot and heavy and right into it. As you know, the first thing that we always look at is market direction. Why? Because the market's direction affects 80% of the stocks in the market. So we always start by using the VectorVest software to analyze what's going on in the market. So here's the homepage of the VectorVest software. If you are not a subscriber to the VectorVest software, you like the content that we talk about here, Joey's going to type in the room. By the way, Joey is my producer. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
Joey's my producer. He's going to type a link in the room for you guys to take a trial to the VectorVest software for 99 cents for 30 days. So you are going to see the benefit of using the software, but if you too would like to be able to do a lot of the things that I'm doing in here, take the trial, 99 cents. Click on that link that Joey's putting in there. Click that link to sign up, though, because it gives us a great way to see who's signing up from the YouTube channel. So if you're going to sign up, use that link. Now, with that all being said, we can clearly see what's going on in our homepage. All of the major indices are down today. Big down day in the market. The Dow is down 200 points. The leader to the downside looks to be the NASDAQ, down over 1.5%. Followed by the S&P 100 down 1 3/10%. And our VectorVest composite, which is an indexed arithmetic average of all of the stocks that we track, is down 0.75%. Why do we use the VVC? Because we are currently tracking 8,319 stocks. The VVC is one indicator that tracks the move of all of those stocks. That's why we use it for market timing. We feel that it gives us a better representation of the broad market movement. And again, we use it for market timing. All of the major indices are down. Our guidance in the color guard says VectorVest advocates what? Caution when buying stocks at this time. We look at the color guard. If you want to learn more about the color guard, again, if you take a trial to the software, you will get a nightly update on what this color guard is and how it works. Simple though. Use it like traffic light. What's the predominant color you see in the color guard right now? Yellow. If you watch the daily color guard report, we'll show you how these colors pop up in the appropriate rows. So that is why we're saying more neutrality or caution at this time. If you're short in the market, tighten the stops on your stocks that you're shorting. If you're long in the market, tighten the stops on the stocks that you're long. No matter what happens on either day, whether the market's up or whether the market's down, the tightening of your stops helps you to mitigate what's going on in the market. Arjan is asking someone reply. Joey is in the background. Arjan, if he can reply to you, he will. Keep in mind, there's a lot of people in the room, so I'm trying to make sure.
What stock you should buy today?
What stock? No, that's not what this is all about. We're going to look at the stocks that are making the news. So, yeah, if that's what you're here for, that's not the place. This is not the place for that. What I'm doing is showing you the stocks that are making the news. All right, and we're going to go from there. So as far as just coming here to see, hey, what stock should I buy? This ain't the place for that. I'm going to give you an education on using the VectorVest software to help you to find stocks, but we're going to analyze a lot of stocks that are out there for you as well. All right, so looking at the color guard, a lot of yellow. Time to be cautious. Tighten the stops on your stocks that you're in, no matter what side of the market you're on. Now, with that, I am going to go into our first story. dealing with what's going on in the market. What moves markets? Earnings, interest, and inflation. All right, those are the three things that move markets globally. So the first story I have in regards to what's going on in the market today, the Fed holds rates steady near zero and indicates that it will stay there for years. I saw a story that said it's going to stay there for about 3 years. So, the Fed is trying to do everything that it can to buoy the economy and keep the economy going the best way that it can. My next story is interesting. Stock markets have now seen the peak of the Fed stimulus. I want you guys to answer a question in the chat. Do you think that the Fed is run out of everything that it can do to stimulate the economy? All right, I want to hear that. Yes or no? Type it in the room. All right, I'm very interested to know. But this story says, unless these two things happen, if you scroll down, one of the two things, you're looking at the planned hold interest rates, blah, blah, blah. However, uninspiring data failed to invigorate the markets as the Dow Jones Industrial slipped 0.3% or 69 points. And that was as of today. All right, that was as of today as we're looking at it. In our call later to Lena Komoliva, oh my gosh, chief economist for G Plus Economics, said markets have now seen the peak of the Fed stimulus, barring a government error or market shock. The Fed's new inflation framework has not led to new policy regime or fresh action. That's key. So, the market is looking for stimulus. The Congress is out there trying to go back and forth to determine whether or not there's going to be more stimulus. The Fed, is, and that's why I asked the question, do you think that the Fed has shot all of its bullets in regards to, I don't know if that's a good thing to say. I shouldn't want to say that, right? If they've used or exasperated, that's a good word, right, Joey? Exasperated everything that they can do to help to stir up the economy. With no signs of further measures from the Fed, an analyst said that the spotlight now would be on what? Congress over a new stimulus package. That's now, the Fed is saying and I've been showing stories, the Fed has been asking, saying we need more stimulus. And if Congress can't come up, I don't know where that's going to put us as far as the market still growing. All right, my next story in here is spending is growing. U.S. retail spending grew at a slower pace. So people are buying money, but I think this is still catching up from the people that got stimulus. Now with no stimulus, I think you're going to watch retail spending fall a little bit. This says that it grew at a slower pace in August. I think it's going to grow at even a more slower pace in September if we don't come up with any stimulus. And as that's happening, the Fed is doing everything that it can do. But if the Congress doesn't come through with something to stimulate, to help put more stimulus, because you put more stimulus, you put more money in people's pockets. You put more money in people's pockets, they're going to put it back out into the economy. Well, if they're not getting the money, they can't put it out into the economy. So I think all three stories have some merit. But starting with the Fed holds the rates near zero, I think they have to. I think if you start raising interest rates, that's the quickest way to make the market go boom, bang, poof. I don't have my thing, do I? All right.
But you can't use it right now.
Huh?
I can't use it right now anyway.
I can't use it. All right, never mind. All right, so let's now go back out to the VectorVest program. I'm going to go to our viewers tab. I'm going to go to our watch list viewer for today. Trending Thursday. Let's go down to find today, which is 9/17. Here's the stocks that we'll talk about today. But the two stocks that I look at for the market, for those of you who are not VectorVest subscribers, I look at the spiders. And for those of you who are VectorVest subscribers, we look at the VectorVest composite. Now I'm going to pull these both up on the graph. All right. And this is going to be a depiction of what's going on in the market. I'm going to look at a 3-month graph. Here's the market pullback off of the high on the VectorVest composite on 9/2. Market turned around. Our market timing calls started issuing down calls. But if I have a 3 and an 8 exponential moving average on that VectorVest composite, notice that even as the market rose for 3 days, the 3 exponential moving average stayed below the red line, or the 8 exponential moving average, and the market is still moving to the downside. Now, we do have downside to this level of current support, which was prior resistance, sitting at 326.96. Actually, this is on the spiders, not on the VectorVest composite. This is on the spiders. So we have a level of support sitting at 326.96. Let's see if that level of support will hold, or if it breaks down, that then tells us that we do have more downside by way of the S&P 500. And the VectorVest composite is doing a lot of the same thing, pulled back off of the high on 9.2. The 3 did go quickly above the 8, but it looks like it's turning back around now. Here's our level of support. Here's a better level of support sitting right here. Let me give you a level on the VectorVest composite, sitting at a level of about $48.47, where the market's trading at 50.15. All right. Now, I say all of this, and we got to it quick. I say all of this to say, how do you trade the market right now? We're coming off a high. You should probably be more bearish right now. We do have levels of support both on the VectorVest composite and on the S&P 500. Let's take a wait and see attitude about what's going on in the market, how to play the market. But as a trader, you play the day that the market gives you. Notice that coming off of these days of down, an up day. If I'm a trader, though, I can play that up day. As a trader, you take what the market gives you. As a longer-term investor, use some semblance of market timing to let you know what you should or should not do. Now, with all of that being said, I have a special guest today. His name is Ron Wheeler, and I like to call him our stock or options guru. This guy knows options inside and out and has a pristine way of explaining options to our subscribers. So Ron is going to come in, but he's going to, he's got a webcast coming up today. It's free. Before anybody say I'm trying to sell you anything, get over yourself, slow down. It's a free webcast today that's going to show you a little bit about how to trade the market with an options play on one ticker symbol. With one ticker symbol, no matter whether the market is bullish or bearish. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Ron in now. Again, Ron Wheeler, senior instructor here, but specifically for options. Thank you. Specifically for options. And he's going to tell you a little bit about himself and tell you a little bit about what's going on with what he does and about a special something that we've got going on for you guys. So, Ron, take it away, my friend.
Well, thank you, Glenn. I appreciate first off, the invite to Trending Thursdays. I was telling Glenn the other day, I love watching this channel. It's kind of funny. I don't really like watching market stuff because I do it for a living. I do it all day long. So it's kind of boring to me. But Glenn makes this so exciting. So it's actually fun to watch him analyze the markets. I really appreciate and I really enjoy your program, Glenn. It's awesome. Now, what Glenn was saying is I kind of specialize in options. I'll give you a little bit of a history of my trading and what I've done over the years. I started trading all the way back in 97. So I've been doing this now for like 23, almost 24 years. And one of the things that I have always traded, my first real trade that I ever made was on the S&P futures. Love trading the S&P futures, and I've been trading those for over 20 years. Well, I was a day trader for a very, very long time. And around 15 years ago, I started getting a little bit, I don't know. I mean, you got to be in front of the screen for 6-7 hours a day. It's a zero-sum game. If I bought the S&P futures or if I sold crude oil, whatever I did, it didn't matter. It was zero-sum. It had to go up or it had to go down. And after sitting in front of the market for so long and kind of being introduced gradually to options in my career, I decided to do more of an option-based trading plan. And I've become an option seller over the years, by the way. I've always done what I call, or what I don't call, but what they call vertical credit spreads. And the beauty of this, and the reason why I switched over to this idea is because, like Glenn was saying, right, the market's got some support, it's got some resistance, but you want to give the market a little bit of room to operate, right? So, for instance, on Monday of this week, the market was going up on Monday, right? Well, our shorter term market timing said, guess what? We're still kind of in a downward phase. So on Monday, one of the primary trades that I do is I trade not the S&P futures anymore, but I trade the S&P options. So here's what we do. on Monday when the market timing was down, but even though the market was up, right? We're looking at this thing in a good week to a week and a half form. I actually did what's called a bear call spread on the SPX. Now, this trade that I do, it's designed to last 7 days. That's it. I take it on a Monday, and I am out by the following Monday. Win, lose, or draw, I will be out by the following Monday. Now, I think, if you've been watching the market this week, you kind of saw what it did, especially on the VectorVest market timing graph. It was a little hairy for a while. The market kind of went up this week, and then yesterday, right, it went up a little bit more. But because I place these trades and I sell these out of the money options, I try to focus on things that have a 65% probability of working for me or better. I still had on the S&P at yesterday's high about 20 to 20, I think it was like 25 points before that trade would have been a loser. And then this morning, of course, the market kind of gapped lower, and boom, right off the bat, at 4 seconds into the market, I got filled and I was profitable on that trade. Now, what I do with the S&P is my primary source of how I trade the market. About 5 years ago, I introduced to the VectorVest world, because I started working for VectorVest about 5 years ago. I introduced the VectorVest world to the whole idea of these income or credit spreads. And I've taught this now to a lot of people over my VectorVest career, even before that. And one of the biggest, I guess you could say, pushbacks of this is, well, Ron, how do you find these trades that you like to do? You got to find a stock that's moving in accordance with the market. Then, and I don't want to make this sound like it's something that is like, you're going to find 1 in a million. But when you're an option trader, and specifically an option spread trader, you've got to find, first off, good market timing, right? The market has to be going up or it has to be going down. I like to trade when the market's trending. Right now, we're kind of in between trends in the longer term because it's going up, going down. So you got to find good market direction first, right? Then you've got to find a good stock that's working in conjunction with the market direction. Then we have to actually find a good options trade out of it. It's got to have the right risk reward. It's got to have the right buffer. When I say buffer, I just mean that if a stock's at 100, I want to make sure that I give it room to go down to, let's say, 95 or 90 before I'm wrong. I've got to find all these things. Now, it's not that difficult, but a lot of people, kind of like my history, right? They don't want to spend 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour, hour and a half finding these things. So into my VectorVest career, I introduced, first off, the clients that worked with me, I introduced them to the concept of, well, why don't I show you guys the S&P index trades that I've been doing myself for like the last 10 years. And it became incredibly popular because what we do on Monday morning, we take a very quick look at market direction. And within, I'm serious on this, within a minute, we can place our trade. We look at the S&P 500, we place our trade, and we're done. Now, as long as you have a broker like an IB or a Thinkorswim or even like an E-Trade that can do orders like one cancels the other and things like that, we can actually make this relatively automated. Like I told you this morning, I placed a bear call trade on Monday. And the idea of a bear call trade, just so you guys know, is we sell what's called an out of the money call, and then we purchase a call, same strike or same expiration, strike price a little bit higher as insurance. That kind of limits our loss. So I place an order to take profits on that trade. And like I said, at 4 seconds into the market this morning, that trade was filled. I didn't have to do anything. I got an alert on my phone from Thinkorswim saying, congratulations, you made money. It really is one of the easiest things to do to create income. It's something that anybody can do in, like I said, as little as like 5 minutes a week, seriously. And it's been very, very popular over the years. I make a lot of my profits year to year on the S&P 500 trading. I trade a lot of stocks too, don't get me wrong, but the S&P has been really a bellwether for me for the last decade. Oh, well, I mean, if you took futures into account, last 20 years, but the last 10, 15 years as an option trader, the S&P has been my bread and butter. And it's a system that really anybody can use. So I will tell you this, if it's something that you're interested in, and thank you, Glenn, for opening this up for me. We're going to put a link, Joey will put a link in the chat window for it's called the SPX Income Challenge. So what we're doing is we're launching a class that just focuses on this trade alone. 1 trade a week, 52 trades a year. It's always on. There's always going to be a trade on Monday regardless. We're always going to be placing them. Historically, it's got about a 65% chance of success. When you make money, you make an equal amount to the amount you lose. So there's never going to be like one trade that wipes out 5 winners. It's not going to happen that way. But if you go to that website, I think it's vectorvest.com/join challenge, if I'm not mistaken. Take a look at it. We've got I did a recording of a class last night. Take a look at that recording. It's about an hour long with a Q&A at the end, and get an idea for what we do. It's just a really good way to generate income as an options trader or as a trader in general. You don't have to worry about stock selection. You don't have to worry about options. You just kind of get in there. You do 1 trade a week, and it's pretty much done. It's a very, very nice strategy to use.
All right. So now I'm reading some of the comments in there. Someone says, I'm not a gambler. I'm an investor. Someone says we need to get more back to stocks. All right. Let me nip some of this in the bud real quick. This is Trending Thursday, and I've got a guest. My guest is trying to help people understand a little bit more about options. That's it. All right. 1, it's not a gamble, especially when options are designed to be less riskier than stocks. If you don't know that from an options perspective, that's why we have these webcasts trying to teach you a little bit more about options. If you've traded options and you've lost money, let Ron at least give you a better understanding on how to trade options. Now, in regards to, this is not something that Dr. DeLito talks about. No. That's one of the 7 secrets to making money in the market. One of the 7 secrets is learn to trade options. And that came from Dr. DeLito in one of the most renowned essays, number 1, and presentations that he's ever done, the 7 secrets to making money. Folks, if anybody was talking, well, I just came here just to listen to this, listen, we do a lot here in Trending Thursday. So I just want to nip that in the bud real quick. There's a lot of people in here, and there's a lot of people who are interested in options, and that's why I'm thankful that Ron is here, so that you guys can learn just a little bit outside of just stocks. Having options in your tool belt makes you a better person at your craft. And if that's not what you want to hear, I'm sorry. I'm not always here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. All right, so with that, thank you very much for that, Ron. We have a link, and real quick, in trading this market right now, for those people who are interested in options, what do you look at? How do you trade just trade the general market? Let's take the SPX off the table for a second. Just from general options knowledge, what do you look for? How do you think you should trade the market from an options perspective?
Directional. I mean, right now, I know that we're down today. I still would look at this market in a directional form. And right now, even though it's retracing, we're still kind of in an uptrend. Now, I kind of want to get back to that question, like, I don't like to gamble, I like to invest. I don't like to gamble either. I'm not a gambler. That's why I kind of do these trades like this.
Excellent. Thank you for saying that. Okay.
Yeah, and I always set up trades to where, I'm not going to lose more than I make, and then I also have probability. Now, if you want, the beautiful thing about options, and the most misunderstood, options were actually created as a hedge. So they were created to protect you. So one of the things that we could certainly do right now, if you're not looking to actually trade an option, use the options for what they're designed to do. Protect. If you own 100 shares of Microsoft, 1,000 shares of whatever you own, buy a put. The put gives you the right to sell your stock. If the stock goes down, if the stock goes down, that put that you buy will increase in value, and it's going to offset the loss of your stock if this market continues to go down. Now, the beauty is if the market continues to go up, guess what? That put that you bought, yes, it'll lose money, but the stock that you have is going to overtake that. So one of the things we focus on right now in our retirement service is we focus on protective puts. And that is simply, with this market being a little wishy-washy, we can buy puts on our existing positions. And just to give you an idea, to give you a baseline of how we would buy a put on a stock. Generally speaking, you want to go out roughly about 45 days to expiration. buy something with a delta between about 40 and 50. Now, a lot of people just go out and buy like what's called at the money puts. At the money means that the strike price of the option is equal to the stock price. You can do that. It's a little expensive, but you can go a little bit further out of the money. So let's just say that the stock price right now is at 100. You can go out there and buy a $95 put. It's going to be a little bit cheaper, but in case that stock gets really hammered, now you've got protection there that's going to at least keep your losses to a minimum. And, you know, you can do this kind of reverting to the SPX, by the way. You can also buy options on the SPX and you can protect your entire portfolio. If you buy, let's say you have $100,000 in stock, you can buy about 3 SPY, that's the spider, the ETF. You can buy 3 SPY puts, and that will give you protection on about $100,000 in capital. If you're trading a lot of money, like maybe you have $1 million in stocks and you want to find a way to protect that while this market's crazy, you can buy 3 SPX puts. That's the index option. That'll protect about 900 and I think about almost $1 million in capital. So that's what you really should be focusing on if you have a lot of stocks that you own that you want to protect. Yes, you can use stops, and I would encourage that. Weed the garden. If these things are starting to move against you, it's probably time to exit them. But if you want a little bit of comfort zone, buffer, time to keep a stock, right? Buy a put. Go out about 45 days of expiration, buy something right near the money, 40 to 50 delta, and let that option do exactly what it was designed for. Hedge, protect yourself. That's the beauty of options, and there's so much more, of course, too.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Ron. I thank you for giving that tidbit of information to help people understand what to do now. All right. How do you determine the best expiration date? As a buyer, you normally want to buy for 45 days or more. As a seller, you normally want to sell for 30 days or less. All right. So that's real quick, rule of, I don't want to call it rule of thumb, but Ron's shaking his head as he agrees with that. As a buyer, 45 days or more, you want to buy the time to be right. As a seller, 30 days or less, you want to sell the buyer the least amount of time to be right. All right. So with that, Ron, man, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for letting us tap into your knowledge, your well of knowledge. And I want everybody. Joey has put in the chat the link. He's going to do it again. I want VV Nation to rise up today, support him in his webcast. What time is your webcast today, Ron?
4:30.
At 4:30 today. Go join it. If you want to learn more about that trade, talk about it. We've got a challenge that's going on with it as well. Learn about it. But VV Nation, stand up, support him. He is a VectorVest instructor. Let us show him what we can do to help bolster a webcast for him, because there's a lot to be learned. There's a lot to be learned, and I want you guys to really turn out for him. All right? Anything else you got to say, Ron? Because I'm going to let you go, my friend.
Okay, just one last thing, just to give you guys an idea, that the index thing that I was talking about earlier, the income idea, the income challenge. Just so you know, in a really lackluster year of trading this year, we're up about 38%. Just so you know, 38% return on investment for this year in our SPX income trades. Last year, it was over 35%, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a good repeatable source. So check it out. If it's something that you're interested in, we got the link out there. Like I said, it's one more thing that you can add to your arsenal that's very low risk and higher probability.
All right. Again, thank you, Ron. VV Nation, support him today. Let's go. 4:30. It's a webcast. Check him out. So all we can do is asking you to check him out. The webcast is free, folks. The webcast is free. I ain't selling nothing. The webcast is free. Come check it out. Ron, adios, my friend. Have a great day.
You too, buddy.
All right. With that, folks, that was awesome to have Ron on board today. I love having guests. It exposes you guys to more than just listening to me. All right. Real quick, if you can, put this, share this link today, what we're doing right now live. Share it on your social media. Let's see if we can get more people here. You never know who's in your circle who may be interested in the stock market. Folks, copy the link from what we have here on YouTube, put it out on your social media, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram. Let's get more people involved into VV Nation, folks. At the end of the day yesterday, at least 2 or 3 were green, but this morning, yesterday's lights turned yellow. Why? A shock. That's, again, part of looking at what goes on in our daily color guard reports on a nightly basis. I'm not sure if you're a subscriber or not, but we talk about that stuff and how the lights get to be what they are and if we scroll down, this was yesterday's activity. All right, the reason why we have 3 green lights is all 3 of these indicators went up on a week-over-week and day-over-day basis. As the market moved today, now notice 49, it went up on a week-over-week basis, but with the down day today, all of these indicators fell on a day-over-day basis, moving the lights to yellow. All right, so watching the daily color guard report on a nightly basis explains how we get the colors, what it means to you, the whole 9 yards. And Frank, the link is in the chat. Joey has put the link in the chat to help you to get to Ron's training. All right, we're going to keep moving on. Just to let you know that this is a podcastable webcast or live stream. Go to your webcast place of choice and look for Trending Thursdays. When you're out and about, you can always listen to the podcast of Trending Thursdays. One other thing, if you look down below the video, we have a merch store. Like my VectorVest cup that I have right here that I'm looking at. Hold on, put it up. See my VectorVest mug? You can buy one of these. And every so often we give a free giveaway and we'll give away a mug. But today I'm drinking tea. I'm not drinking Cafe Bustelo. I am drinking tea. And it's lemon zinger tea. It's not all that great. I should have stuck with the coffee. All right, let's move on to my next story. Let's do that. Let's move on to my next story. All right, as that pops up. You know what I always like to talk about? Coronavirus, right? Coronavirus is my next story, and this is a good story. There are 7 coronavirus vaccine candidates being tested in the U.S. Here's where they stand. 7 of them that are in phase 3, where they're actually being used on human beings. All right, at least 3 of these are still investigational vaccines have moved to phase 3. So I've got a few of the stocks here in the stories. One of them happens to be, hold on, where is it? There it is, Astrazeneca. Astrazeneca, which is now up about 1.24% in partnership with University of Oxford. Now, you know something? That University of Oxford is high on the list on being one of the companies that's going to come out with a vaccine. I like that they are attached to a U.S. company, AstraZeneca, in a good way. To play the whole industry is by an index, IBL. I got to check that out. There's one ETF that you can play for the whole industry. Actually, there's a couple because you can also look at, not JNUG, what am I looking for? LABU, which looks at all the pharmaceuticals as well. So there's a couple of ways to either play an individual stock or play the whole gambit in one. Another one is BNTX and Pfizer. All right, those are 2 other ones that are in there. The companies published preliminary data on July 1st as a preprint. 24 participants in the study who received 2 doses of a lower dose vaccine developed neutralizing antibodies. That's huge right there. It's the antibodies that's going to help the vaccine, creating those antibodies. All right, phase 2, phase 3, man, they're moving along. MRNA, my stock of choice, which is down today. For them, phase 3, the study is expected to complete enrollment of 30,000 people in sometime in September. Do you September? When we fell in love, we were young and innocent then. Yeah, that wasn't good. All right. Anyway, they got a whole bunch of money, funding from BRDA. mRNA's got $955 million. Who else? That's mRNA. Let's go back up. Phase 3. This is the AstraZeneca one. 300 million doses. They got money. Who's giving them money? Didn't say who's giving them money. That was the AstraZeneca. Let's see. AstraZeneca's been around a while. Up to 1.2 billion. Man, that's a lot. Let's go down to the last one, mRNA. I got INO is in here as well, which is down big time today. Woo! Good Gordon Gin, that's down a lot. Good googly muggly. Good googly muggly. That's a lot of down. But Johnson & Johnson is in this list. Hold on. The U.S. government on INO, it received $71 million from the Department of Defense for INO. But right now, something happened. I got to check out and see what happened with that. So there's 7 stocks. Let's go into the software. Oh, what did I do? I messed it up. There we go. Let's go into the software. Let's go take a look at those stocks. Johnson & Johnson, Novavax, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, MRNA, INO, BNTX. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's all 7 of them. You know, instead of analyzing them all, because it'll take me a lot of time to analyze each one of them, look at them. The best one out of all of them from a fundamental standpoint happens to be Johnson & Johnson, where relative value is at 1.16, relative safety is at 1.29. So Johnson & Johnson is the only one that's fundamentally sound on both relative value and relative safety. If we look at the ones that are going up the most, that's Pfizer, and that's barely at or above the value of 1. Let's do it a different way. Let's go right-click. Let's view the stock graphs. Let's see which ones, and put it on a 3-month graph. Man, Johnson & Johnson fundamentally is the most sound one, but look at the move. It was going up. Again, I'm using a 3 and 8 exponential moving average. Big down day. I'm sure that was news-driven, but look at the fall. Even with today's activity, it does have a level of support sitting at about 145.65, and it's trading at 146.38. The beautiful thing about using our graphing package is that we can set up automatically your levels of support and resistance. I use moving averages, whether a stock is trending or not trending, to give me a feel of what's going on. RT, the indicator that tells me if the stock is in an uptrend or not. RT is below 1 and falling. Volume is falling. So Johnson & Johnson may be the most fundamentally sound, but I'm not thinking about it. Now, Novavax, on the other hand, look at that move most recently where the 3 and the 8 just crossed above the value of 1. All right. The 3 just crossed above the 8. Stock's moving up. I like that. RT is still below the value of 1. Stock's still considered to be in a downtrend. But look at this. Volume is moving up as the stock's price is moving up. There's still some trading day left. Down day, if I'm in the stock, leave it alone. 1 day down doesn't make a trend. But I'm looking at the 3 and the 8. They look good. I really would like to have a stock with the 3 and the 8 above 1 and RT above 1 to give me more of a feel of an upward moving stock. This one is That's the best way I'm going to say. It's just Looking at Pfizer. So now all of these stocks are making the news that they're out there for clinical, trial phase 3. But I'm looking at the analysis by way of a graph in the VectorVest software to give me a better feel. So news can give you all the information you think you want to have. This is the information that you need to have to make the right decision. Pfizer did bounce off a level of support that was sitting at 35.22. The 3 and the 8 crossed on 9.14. The stock is moving sideways. The 3 hasn't crossed below the 8. RT is still barely above the value of 1. If you're in it, leave it alone. Wait for the 3 and the 8 to cross down to the downside on an end-of-day basis. As the stock is moving sideways, volume is falling off. There's nothing abnormal about that. That makes sense that that volume would fall as the stock is moving sideways. What else? Oh, AstraZeneca bounced off a level of support sitting at 52.37. The 3 and the 8 crossed 9.15. The stock's price is moving up. You know what I like about this? Volume is pretty steady. I like the move of relative timing, even though it's not above 1. Price moves RT. Would love to see RT get above 1, but the stock is moving in a direction that I want it to move. Does have a level of resistance sitting at 57.68 as the stock is trading at 55.65. But overall in a sideways move, but I like the bounce off of that level of support. Looking at MRNA, my stock of choice, hard to be in right now, but it did bounce off support. Look at that rebound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row up. The 3 did cross above the 8. Volume is starting to pick up a little bit. RT is still not above the value of 1. Down day to day. If you own it, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let your stops manage the trade, but on an end-of-day basis, the 3 is still above the 8. I'm looking at I&O. Man, bounced off support nicely. 1, 2, 3 nice up days. I've got a candlestick pattern right here known as a bearish harami. Harami in what is it? Japanese means pregnant lady. So there's the lady's body, there's the baby. So that's where we get that candlestick pattern known as a bearish harami. If you're in it though, leave it alone. The 3 and the 8 are still have you in place. Look at the bump up in volume. I like that. Stocks priced the 3 cost above the 8, rising volume. Now today is a down day. Let it be. Just like the Beatles. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. Let the market come to me. Let it be. Thank you. Thank you. That was a good rendition of Let It Be. And the last stock, BNTX.
Everybody
left. They left? They didn't leave. Oh, man, y'all didn't leave. Don't leave. I like the candlestick pattern here known as a hammer. All right, look at that run up. 3 cost above the 8. The stock's RT is still below the value of 1. Now, there's a common denominator in all of these stocks, even though they've made the news and they're out for trials. All of the RTs, with the exception of Johnson & Johnson, all of the RTs with the exception of Pfizer are below 1. None of these stocks are really in an uptrend. So what you're looking for, even though they're making the news to make a better informed decision, make sure you're buying them on an up day as the stock's price is running. These stocks have the potential to make you a lot of money in a short amount of time because they're hot and heavy in the news. But don't be afraid to take your profits quick on them as well. All right. Now, let me ask, does anybody have any questions in regards to that? And number 2, type in the room, how many of you have made money off of some of these coronavirus stocks in your portfolios? All right. So 2 questions. Does anybody have any question about the story? And number 2, comment in the room, how many of you have made money off of these coronavirus stocks? All right, mRNA is gold. I like mRNA. Again, it's been a tough stock to have to sit and watch. Most of these stocks are also facing resistance at the 50-day simple moving average. Again, I didn't even put the moving averages on from that level of resistance. I used the resistance that VectorVest drew for me. I used the resistance that VectorVest drew for me. Mark says he made a lot of money on VXRT several times. Sorrento Therapeutics has made me money. That's another one, SRNE. All right, and some people have said nope. And you know something? For those of you who said no, this is more trading money than longer-term investing money. Keep that in mind. These will be shorter-term trades, especially because these relative timings are below 1. All right, I don't play drugs, says Vince. Well, that's good. Right, Joey? Mm-hmm. All right, that's good. All right, so Codex is another one that's made money. Glenn, out of your 7, what would you analyze the best? I looked at all of those graphs. And again, this is why I reiterate that these are more trades. There's not one that I really, well, there is. I do like Novavax, nice moving up coming from a bottom. I'd really like the RT to go above 1. So Novavax was 1. I also like Astrazeneca coming off a low. I'd like to see RT go above 1. MRNA is the 3rd one. And INO is another one. That makes it a 4th one, not that one. So there's 4. Out of the 7, there's 4 that I would look at. There was 4 that I would look at. And SRNE is not in my list today, a shock, and that's fine. I will take a look at that when we go through stocks. There's a huge push from Trump's for the vaccine. Do not take one for at least a year or more. Do not be a guinea pig. You know something? I will leave that up to the individuals. And you know something? This is why the FDA is around, to protect ourselves from drugs. We have Operation Warp Speed, which is pushing these companies to get a vaccine. It is what it is. Now, just like we have a flu shot and we got a pneumonia shot. What's that called? Pneumonia? Yeah, we got a pneumonia shot. All right? Those were developed over years. Guess what? The vaccine for coronavirus will be developed over years, but they're looking at something to stem the tide for coronavirus now. All right, so there we go. All right, and let's go on to our next story. All right. Huh? All right, let's go on to our next story. Thank you for the comments and the questions. All right. Now, my next story is about clean energy. You know how Glenn feels about clean energy, right? Glenn has been loving clean energy for the longest time. You know why? Because it was rocking and rolling and has been.
Holy smoke.
That's right. And guess what?
Good googly muggly.
Good googly muggly. How many of you have made some money off of my clean energy stocks? They're not mine, but I've been talking about clean energy for a minute. I'm wondering how many of you have had an opportunity to make some money off of these clean energy stocks. They've been rocking and rolling. I've used the software to determine that industry was on the rise. And actually, as time goes along, we're going to be doing more stuff on YouTube. And I think one of the segments that I'd like to do on a weekly basis is showing you how to use the VectorVest software to find out what industries are trending at any given time. All right, so 3 ways to invest in the electrical vehicles that are not Tesla. And that's big because Tesla is the big name in that space. So how about now you may be getting introduced to 3 other stocks that are not Tesla that'll help you. One of them, Nikola. Now there's something that's going on with that Nikola trade. GM and Nikola is under some scrutiny under their agreement. They went on a wild ride last week, but there's one thing clear. This company is on a track to be the next Tesla. I've seen that more and more and more, that Nikola, every time I say that, I want to go Nikola, even though it's Ricola, but I like to go Nikola. All right, but I've seen a lot of stories says that Nikola is going to be the next Tesla, but Nikola just got an investment by GM, and a lot of people are saying that that's the first step before they go take over Nikola. So if Nikola is going to be the next Tesla, does that mean at some point in time, if this goes through, that GM is going to be the next Tesla? Things that make you go, All right, so what others in here? Here's a stock that I haven't known much about, Ambarella. Ambarella is more widely known for its contribution to GoPro's success, but that is not the end of the story. The company is a driving force in the field of computer visualization and has a healthy exposure to the EV market. The company recently released second quarter results that beat consensus, and driven by results in the artificial intelligence, CV, which is something, and EV, which is electrical vehicle segment. Shares of the stock appear to be putting in a bottom following some recent analyst upgrades. Ambarella is also well positioned for 5G revolution. So Ambarella is one of those companies that's both in the electrical vehicle or the clean energy side and 5G because of its technical wanton. I think that's a good word. Doesn't matter. It sounded good, and as long as I say it confidently, it's a good word. All right, and one other stock that's in this space is NIO. And this is a Chinese-based EV manufacturer with operations in China, the U.S., and the EU. So they've got some diversification of where they put their vehicles out. The company, like most EV companies, is a niche operator offering a single type of vehicle, which is SUVs. Interesting that when the gas guzzling thing came around, everybody was giving away from SUVs. Now, whether it's gas or electric, more people are going back to SUVs. Why? Because it holds more people. Joey's got an SUV smaller than mine. He's got like a baby SUV compared to mine. What do you have, a Tahoe? He's got a Tahoe. I've got a Ford Excursion. I can fit like 50 people in my car comfortably. Joey, on the other hand, can only fit about 6 people in his car comfortably. I can rent out my Excursion as apartment space. It's that big. Now, it's got a 40-gallon tank, so I'm loving gas prices now, all right, because it doesn't take nearly as much gas to fill up 40 gallons of a truck. Now, my truck goes from 0 to 60 in 3 days, but once I'm moving, don't get in my way, all right? Right, Joey? Mm-hmm. Now, Joey's car may be a little faster than mine. I'm going to still race him for pinks. I'm going to take his Tahoe and eat it. That's what I'm going to do. My Excursion is going to eat his Tahoe. All right. So there is 3 stocks here. There's another one. Exclusive. Tesla in talks to buy low-carbon nickel from Canada. A lot of people keep saying, where does Tesla get its batteries from? Tesla makes its, I'm not sure, but Don't they make their own batteries? I thought they did. No? All right. Well, anyway, Canadian miner Giga Metals about helping to develop a large mine that would give the electric car maker access to low-carbon nickel for its batteries. So Tesla's doing everything that they can to fine-tune their battery manufacturing. This could give them a source to nickel. What is it? Low-carbon nickel. All right? Instead of having to go source it out, they'll have their own. That's kind of cool, right? And another couple of stocks, Blink Charging. Now, you think about this. If all of these electrical cars are out there, how do they get charged? I'm thinking, there you go. Blink Charging announces, and this may be a beautiful company to look at because all of these companies are coming out. They're going to all need charging stations, right? Announces that the company is being added to CIBC Atlas Clean Energy Index as part of this year's rebalance. The change will become effective following the market close on September 18. Blink's Charging's addition to this reflects an important milestone for our company in highlighting our leadership role within the EV charging industry. Folks, I'm telling you, that's probably, if you're not already looking at it, it's at $7.37. That may not be a bad play, especially in this space of electric vehicles. They all need a place to charge, right? Ooh-wee. You're going to have to love that. Where is my ooh-wee? Joey, you moved all my stuff around. Ooh-wee. Yeah, you did. Stop moving all my stuff around. Because if not, folks, you don't want the train to leave the station without thinking about a stock like Blink. All right, so I'm putting that out there. There's the Nikola trade. Nikola low on heavy volume as Hindenburg launches a new attack. So that new trade, that GM getting into Nikola is setting up for another active day with the SEC taking a look at the Hindenburg allegations. As for Hindenburg, the short-selling firm says in a new post today that Nikola failed to answer 43 of its 53 questions and calls the response for the zero-emission truck maker to a tacit admission of securities fraud. Every point made by Nikola was counteracted by Hindenburg. So keep your eye on that. Again, everybody's still saying Nikola is the next Tesla, but right now it's going through some stuff. All right, last but not least, one other stock, and it is not even out yet. CNOO will be the fourth EV startup. It's this space is so hot that more and more people are jumping on board. This is going to go public via the SPAC path this year, following Nikola. I didn't find a story on Ride or a SPAC or anything else, but I really wanted to concentrate on that because that is an IPO that will be coming out. This is a very clear message from the markets. We want to invest in ESG. We want to invest in vehicle electrification. All of this is part of clean energy, of which, your boy Glenn was talking about for the longest time. Whoo-wee! Now, am I going to say that I can call anything? Nope. It's just I used the VectorVest software to help me to find that industry a while ago. All right, so let's go take a look at these stocks in my watch list. We'll go open up my watch list. What were the stocks? Where were they? Ambarella was one of them. Blink, not INO. CNO. Oh, I don't have that yet because that is coming out. Blink, Nikola. MBA, AMBA, Blink. Where's Nikola? Nikola. Did I not put Nikola in here? NK. Oh, there it is. And so it's out of.
iClean's like 6 down.
iClean. There we go. Now, iClean is a good way to play the whole clean energy space. And I'm loving that. I'm in that stock personally. I'm up about 25% on playing that whole industry. It's a $16 stock. I like it. All right. And it's an ETF that plays the whole clean energy space, whether it's windmills, whether it's water stuff, whether it's electrical vehicles, anything that's in the clean energy space. I've been talking about that. That's a good way to play the whole space. Let's look at these other, though. Charge. Now, the bad thing about Charge is a $7 stock, but the value is at 68 cents. This company doesn't make money yet. But with all of these cars going to need charging stations, Blink is probably a very aggressive way to go in regards to that. And again, you don't want to miss the boat, but this is more of a speculative play. Trade it as such. The stock is up 12% today. All right, stock is up 12% today. This is more of a speculative play. And if you can make 15, 20% on the stock, take it. Wait for another opportunity to get in. That might not be a bad play. Nikola, $33, value of $6.96. Again, way overvalued. The stock is losing money. Again, this whole space is a good space as an industry because it's rising. But not all of this is kicked off yet, and I think that we're on the verge of watching a lot of these EVs start to eventually make money. Now, Ambarella, on the other hand, is making money. All right, the stock is trading at 52, value at 15, way overvalued. The only thing that's helping it from analysis perspective is that the RT is above 1, so the stock's in an uptrend, but fundamentally not sound. All right, let's take a look at all of these stocks on the graph real quick. So these are stocks that are making the news. I really like ICLN. Ambarella, all right, look at that bounce off of, that was a little, I can't even really call that a bearish harami because it's a closed candle. But the stock is moving up right now, moving a tad bit sideways. It does have a level of support of where it's trading at right now. That level of support is sitting at about 51.34. The stock is trading at 52.19. Now, the stock is currently in an uptrend. RT is above 1, still above 1, even with today's activity. If you're in it, leave it alone. Let's go put this back on the 3-month graph. Blink. I'm really feeling this stock. Now, fundamentally, it's not sound. I totally understand that. This is more of a speculative play, but when it runs, it has an opportunity to run. Take your profits, wait for another opportunity with a 3-8 cross. Look at that. Run, 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 run. The 3-8 cross. 3-8 just crossed. This could be the onset of another run. Could be. But just, again, this is more of a speculative trade. But it makes sense that this is going to eventually be out there because these companies, all of these electric companies are going to need, electric cars are going to need charging stations. Blink, BLNK is a good stock to keep your eye on. Nikola, it ran when GM said, hey, we're going to buy a stake in you, and then all of this legal mumbo jumbo stuff is coming out about it. All I say with Nikola, just wait. Let the stock come to you. Let the 3 cross above the 8 with good volume. I'd really like to see RT come back above 1 as well. All right. Again, news-driven story. iClean. Look at this. The beautiful way to play the whole industry, folks. Look at this. Over the last 3 months, you've seen all of these stocks go up and down, up and down, up and down. Look at the industry as a whole, folks. This is the clean energy ETF. This is a beautiful play. Now, even if you're in it, the 3 and the 8 cross negative, that's a good time to take your profits off the table. Wait, the 3 and the 8 went up. I'd still leave it alone until the 3 went below the 8. The stock is in an uptrend. I love this ETF to play that whole clean energy space. All right, so that's all my stocks in for clean energy. Does anybody have any questions? And if you're typing those in, a couple of other things to let you know. You can put that up if they have any questions or not. Couple of other things to let you know. Everything that we talk about in the software, we have on a mobile app. We support that as well. Every Thursday at 11 o'clock, Patrick France, senior instructor, shows you how to use the software on our mobile app. And if you want to follow me on social media, I type a lot of stories throughout the week, throughout the day. If you want to follow me on social media, Joey will put my handle in. It's at Glenn Tompkins Jr., and that's either on Twitter or on Instagram. All right, at Twitter or on Instagram. REGI, Rich is a coronavirus stock. I'll take a look at that at the end. I'll take a look at it at the end if that's one of the stocks you want me to look at. Nokia is 5G. So all you guys are putting in stocks for me to take a look at. I'm not putting them in now. I will give you an opportunity. To put those stocks in. All right. I will give you an opportunity. So do not type them in because I'm going to start to ignore them now. All right. So with that, Nikola has an open SEC investigation against HIT following the Hindenburg HIT piece. Yeah. So I'm right now on Nikola. I'm going to say just wait. Let the SEC investigation go through first. I still think that the stock's going to have good upside because GM bought 11% stake in them. So they have some backing. Right now, they've just got to get through the SEC thing first.
I like steak.
You like steak? REGI is, did I give you the wrong stock? REGI is a clean energy stock. My fault, sorry. What is the coronavirus stock? Regeneron? What? I thought that was Regeneron. Evidently that's not. That might be RGRN, something like that. Huh?
You not type it?
I can if I want to. I can type in REGI. Real quick, REGI. Let's take a look at it real quick. From a clean energy perspective, holy smokes. Notice that it's the best stock in our list now. It's the best stock on our list by VST. Good gravy. So looking at a renewable energy that is making money, the stock is undervalued. Thank you. Who gave me that? That was Vince. Thank you for that, Vince. REGI, I need to put that into my clean energy list if it's not already there. I'll come back to that. But undervalued, relative value at 1.47. It's got good upside potential, good safety, in an uptrend. Holy smokes. If I'm going to look at a stock then in that space besides the iClean, REGI is the way to go. Holy smokes. All right. That may not be a bad stock. It was a Midas stock, but look at that 3-month graph. Look at RT. Hold on. Now I want to see if that's in my clean energy. Let me go click on that. There's my watch list I have of clean energy. REGI is already in there. I only looked at the stocks that had stories to them, but I've got 30 clean energy stocks. REGI is in there. REGI is in there. And a lot of them are going down today. Here's a couple of ones. AM is going up. What else is going up? VVPR in that space is going up. This is why I have these watch lists set up. So if I do want to play that energy, why not play that industry or that watch list and only pay attention to the stocks that are going up? That's the power. That is the power behind watch lists. All right, let me go back to today's watch list, 9/17. All right, let's go to our next story. As we move on to our next story, all right, and that's going to start looking at some of my stocks of interest. Some of my stocks of interest. NVIDIA's $40 billion takeover of ARM spells trouble for Intel and AMD, and it's from the perspective of artificial intelligence. All right, we'll deal with $40 billion. The deal won't include ARM's Internet of Things service group, which will be spun off into new units within SoftBank. NVIDIA will pay SoftBank $21 billion. You ever remember when a lot of these buyouts, was big? Wow, they got bought for $2 million. Now look at this. They're getting bought for $21 billion, billion in stock and $12 billion in cash. It's still, so that's like $40 billion. That's a lot of dough. That's a lot of dough right there. That's a lot of dough right there. That's a lot of dough right there. Ooh, where's my ooh-wee? That's a lot of dough right there. NVIDIA will issue an additional $1.5 billion in shares to ARM employees, then pay up to $5 billion in cash for command. This deal has been approved by the boards, ARM, and is expected to close within 18 months. Now, here it is. What does ARM do? ARM low-power chips design are found in over 95% of the world's smartphones. Ta-da! NVIDIA said, "Oh baby, you remember the Jeffersons when they wanted? We finally got a piece of the pie." NVIDIA is now getting into a bigger piece of the pie when it comes down to the smartphones. All right, a lot of this has to deal with the phone's AI, which is really kind of interesting. Why did NVIDIA buy ARM? ARM's recent growth has been weak, but integrating its operations with NVIDIA could eliminate redundancies, cut costs, and boost its profits. Integrating ARM's full business would boost NVIDIA's annual revenue by over 10%. So that was a good business decision to go for NVIDIA to go do that. So that's why it was one of my stocks of interest. One of the things that we don't do very often, we don't talk about IPOs. All right, but Snowflake. And Snowflake is a very interesting cloud-based product backed by Warren Buffett. And this is going outside of what Warren Buffett normally does. Warren Buffett doesn't normally invest in young companies. Warren Buffett is looking for those companies that have been around and are good value plays. Snowflake hasn't proven that they can make money yet. So this is very interesting that Warren Buffett is doing that. And I think a lot of people are saying, well, if Warren Buffett's doing it, we better go do it. That's what they say, right, Joey? How they say it just like that? They say, ooh, we better go out there and get that. Oh, just like that. Did you understand what I just said?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. All right, so that's very interesting that Warren Buffett backed a new IPO of a company. It raised $4 billion even before selling stakes to Salesforce. And now Salesforce is on board with this cloud-based information. That's a big company that serves. We have Salesforce. It's one of the things that we have. A lot of big companies use that CRM, that contact. What is it? What does CRM mean? Cloud. Do you know what it means? How do you not know what that means, Joey? You're supposed to be my guy that tells me all of this stuff. It's not cash register management. You know what that deserves? It's not cash register management. Anyway, customer relations management, I think that's what it is. Anyway, that's big that Salesforce has jumped on board with it too. So we actually had the stock in our database on the day at IPO. We don't always do that, but that was a big IPO. All right, another one, Zoom. Zoom planning messaging update to take on Slack, which is Work. That's the name of the company, Work. Work, which is a Zoom partner. The update would move Zoom's messaging. Huh?
I feel like you want to sing the Rihanna song.
Work. Why did you even put Rihanna's song in there? I wasn't going to do that.
You said it like 3 times.
Everybody work. Anyway, I don't know why you put that in my head. I really wasn't going to do that. But the update would move Zoom's messaging from basic text interface to a more advanced messaging setup like Work. So put those two together. Zoom has reportedly hired a significant number of engineers to build out a new product, which is likely several months away. So, we do Zoom for my church, for other things, and we message within the Zoom app. But I'm thinking that moving from a basic text interface to a more advanced messaging, I've never used Work or Slack, however you want to look at it. I've never used it. But putting those two together might not be a bad way. Zoom and Slack have mostly stayed in their own product lanes, but both face competition from, this is what we use here at work, Teams. Do we like Teams? I like Teams. So, yeah. Why don't we use Zoom?
Because we have Teams?
Because we have Teams. Yeah, probably. But Microsoft, which bundles a variety of communication methods under one umbrella. So it looks like putting Zoom and the Work together, they're going after Teams. And again, we like Teams here. We talk to everyone. I think a lot of people at our office here don't even like to talk to each other on the telephone. Hello, Joe, are you there? Yeah? Okay. See, we'll do, something. I got Teams on my phone. I got Teams on my iPad. So Joey can get in contact with me by way of Teams whenever without even having to do a video. I don't think you can do that in Zoom. There you go, right? So with Teams, we can chat on Teams without doing a video. I think in Zoom, though, you got to be in the video. So this is what I mean. There you go. DraftKings and the New York Giants Inc. exclusive deal. DraftKings is on the rise, baby. The official sports betting, gaming, and daily fantasy operator for football's New York Giants, giving DraftKings access to official Giants marks and logos. There will also be a first-of-its-kind virtual sports lounge open on Giants game days. Hoo-wee. So you got these two. You got DraftKings. You got FanDuel. I got them both. Am I supposed to tell anybody I got those? Mm-hmm. It's legal, right? As a matter of fact, I should check my DraftKings now. No, I can't do that. All right, but out of 700 sports teams available on DraftKings platform, the Giants rank in the top 40 for most highly bet franchises. Why? I'm a New Yorker, and it's tough to be a Giants fan. Ooh-wee. DraftKings had a big day on Tuesday after inking the exclusive deal, and it was up 2%. So DraftKings caught my attention. Oil caught my attention. Why? Oil prices rally as U.S. crude supplies post a weekly decline and Hurricane Sally curtails production. So what is this creating? Type it in the room. What is this creating? Demand. What moves oil? Demand. I need to have a demand thing on here. All right, so maybe I need that.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
That's right. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Demand is what moves oil. WT oil futures up by nearly 5%. And that was yesterday. So we're going to take a look at that as well. Big thing here. Home builder sentiment soars to a record high. but lumber prices raise a red flag. So builders, home builders are like, yeah, I want to build homes, but the lumber prices are going up, which is probably increasing the value of trying to build a home. Sort of kind of offsets each other, right? Yeah, I want to build homes. I want to go. Holy heck, I got to pay that much for lumber? Builder confidence in the market for single-family homes in September increased 5 points to 83 on a monthly NAHB. Anything above 50 is good. The highest reading in the survey's 35-year history, which matches all-time high in August. While housing demand is incredibly strong, builders continue to be dogged by a lack of skilled labor to finish lots. Joey, you want to go build houses? I don't either. I don't want to do that either. There's a lot of people out there that shouldn't want to be. All right, but lumber's going up. I got another story. Microsoft raises its dividend about 10%. That's huge. Microsoft is a good, steady company, and now it's got even steadier, and it's going to get more and more people on board with it. With their raise of the dividend. That's good. Oh, I know. But don't worry about it. It's going to be in my stocks of interest. All right, let's go back into the software. I know. Let's go put Microsoft up here real quick.
It's hard to find good help these days.
Wow. MSFT. All right, so what stocks are my stocks that are my stocks of interest? Now, you'll notice I've got NAIL here. NAIL is for the whole industry of the builders. NAIL. So I like being able to give you some ETFs to trade a whole industry, especially if that industry is moving. Why not be in the satisfaction of being a less risky on the trade? So NAIL, DraftKings, Zoom, NVIDIA, Microsoft, CNOO, which is that IPO, Work, WTI. All right, those are my stocks of interest this week. Let's just go straight to the graphs. Let's go see what we like, what we don't like. All right, so NAIL, the home builders. All right, as a whole industry, here's the ETF for it. I like it. Look at that. Nicely went up, found a high, pulled back, found a low. 3 and 8 still look good. If you're in it, leave it alone. If you're not in it, look to go about 12 cents higher than this high before you pull the trigger. But you might actually want to wait until it goes above this level of resistance at 56.49. But NAIL, for those people who are listening by way of podcast, that I think is a great way to play the whole real estate industry in one ticker symbol. I like it. But if I'm going to buy it now, let's see if it can go above that high, that level of resistance of 56.49. Next stock in here. Wow, DraftKings, the news with the Giants, the stock is taking off. Now, you may say, well, can I still buy it now? If you're going to buy it now, here's the most recent high. This is a 3-month high sitting at about the high is 54.32. I'd have to go 12 cents higher than the high before I pull the trigger. RT looks good. Volume looks good. There's a lot of conviction behind the move. Make sure you're buying into the stock as it's rising. The 3 and 8 looks solid. Put your order in higher than the high, about 12 cents higher than the high. Zoom. Nice pop in Zoom. Was that an earnings play? Yep. Earnings play on Zoom. Earnings was on 8:31. Look at the pop. Look at the fall. Even on the fall, look at the 3 and 8 held. I love using the 3 and 8 exponential moving average as a way to get in, even whether it's a long-term play or a short-term play. The 3 and 8 do a great job. Kept you from panicking, and look at the stock's price still continuing to move higher. RT is above 1, nicely at 1.6. The stock is definitely in an uptrend. Look at NVIDIA. Excuse me, as it bought out ARM. As it bought out ARM. The news on that is not driving the stock's price higher yet. All right. I think that eventually it's going to come into play, but I don't want to wait for eventually. I want to make sure that I'm buying into the stock for the right reasons. Right now is not the right time to buy into it if you're not in it. And if you are in it and you haven't gotten out on the 3-8 cross, you do have a line in the sand sitting at 468.03, a good level of support. All right, so if you're still in it, you got a level of support up to that level. If it falls below that, you probably want to take it off the table. Microsoft, even though they they raised their dividend, I'm going to put this on a 1-year graph There's Microsoft. Everybody knows what happened with COVID. The stock's price over the last year is moving from the bottom left to the top right. A little bit of a pullback here. Let's put this on a 5-year graph. Folks, that's a great long-term stock. And now knowing that it grew its dividends by 10% gives me more of a feeling to say it's okay to be in that stock if I'm in it. Now, if I'm not in it yet, then let's wait for the stock to come to me. I'm not ready to jump on board with it yet, even with the increase in dividend. Now, if you take the stock because you like the dividend, all right, then make sure that the dividend outweighs the price decline. There's got to be a point of, you got to have a point of knowing, is the dividend going to outweigh the price decline? Because if it's not, I don't care how much of a dividend you're getting. All right, so just think about it from that perspective. I would definitely wait to see if the 3 and the 8 can cross back up on Microsoft if I'm not currently in it. All right, I love the story, but the story is not equating out to a good positive move on the stock. Next stock, Snow, brand new Snowflake, cloud-based company. CRM's on board, Warren Buffett's on board. The buzz rose the stock up big time yesterday. It started trading yesterday. And this is kind of rare that we have a stock that trades right from the IPO, right in the software, which is amazing because it was highly talked about. All right, so there's no fundamentals behind the stock yet. So this is strictly a buzz play. And this is all about the buzz. All right, look at all of that give back with the big wick at the top. The stock's price went as high as $319 yesterday. Pulled back. Stock price gapped down today. Red day. The 3 and the 8 are still bullish, but not a lot of data. So this was all about buzz. All right. Buzz Lightyear. What is it? To infinity and beyond. Yes. Work along with Zoom. They both look a lot alike right now. I think that the collaboration is going to bring them up. Not ready to buy it yet. The 3 and 8 are still bearish. The stock's in the downtrend. RT is falling. Volume is falling. Not ready to pull the trigger on it yet. But the news is there. This is why we use the power of the software to make a decision. The news is there, but the software is going to help us to make a decision. Not ready to pull the trigger on either one of those. Now, oil, with that big bump up in oil. Folks, this is the indicator that I've been using to say, when is it the right time to get into oil? Once this 3 and the 8 crosses, that's your good time to get into oil. Now, notice that it did it twice here. Were they 2 good opportunities to make some money in oil before it fell? Absolutely. Right now, the 3 and 8 are about to cross. WTI could be setting up for those oil plays. All right? So there will be quick plays. If the demand is still not there, take advantage of what's happening with oil, with the hurricane, with us depleting a lot of our oversupply. That's what that's all about. All right. Now, does anybody have any questions about my stocks of interest? I love doing my stocks of interest because it brings to the forefront. Can you give me my chat?
Can you calm down for a second?
Can you give me my chat?
Can you calm down?
Listen, don't start with me. Don't start with me today.
Talk to your wife like that?
I will beat you.
Bet you don't.
I don't talk to my heck no. That's my wife. I never talk to my wife like that.
You don't talk to me either.
Why? You ain't my wife.
No, I'm your.
You what? No, that's right. You're gonna get beat up. That's what you're gonna be. Oh man, I lost my desk blankie.
Way to go.
Here we go. That hides all what's on my desk. It's my desk blankie. All right. So we looked at our stocks of interest. Another question. How many of you have made money on some of these stocks of interest? Anybody? Has anybody made money? And you know something? If the answer is no, it's no. But I'm just curious to know, has anybody made money on any of these stocks of interest? Some of them, they make good stories. All right? They make good stories, but by analyzing the stocks in the software, it goes beyond just looking at a story, right? The stories look great, but is it the right time to buy? A lot of times these stories are designed to keep you out of the stocks that are making the news. All right, so there we go. I'm seeing still up on Zoom. Yes, NVIDIA. NVIDIA, look at that. People making money on NVIDIA and Zoom. Look at that. I love that. I'm not doing stock market. Why did you put stock market confession?
Because I told Maria, she said she didn't have any money to buy a mug, so I said she...
If you put in a stock market confession, I might give you one. All right. Yes, made money short term on Microsoft. Way to go. Green 3 over 8 is good. I love that 3 and the 8. Yep, on Neo, lost money on Nikola. That's all right. Henry, on the money that you lost on Nikola, were you able to nip that in the bud so it wasn't a big loss? That's always important. You know, it's one thing to make money in a stock. The biggest thing is not losing a lot of money in the stock. All right, think about that. So, Henry, on losing on Nikola, were you able to nip the loss in the bud? All right, so just let me know. I'm curious to know about that. Excellent. He said yes.
Maria was forced to drink out of a Yankees mug. Poor girl.
Oh, man, I got nothing Yankees here today, do I? How about the Yankees? The Yankees scored like 33 runs in what, 2 games? The Yankees are hot. Ooh-wee.
I think the Braves had more, didn't they?
The Braves had 30 in one game. We had 20 in a game, 21 in a game. All right, shut up. You don't know anything about baseball.
I think I got all your Yankee stuff thrown away, though.
You throw my Yankee stuff away, I cut you. I cut you. How about hold on, IPO today in telehealth. Jeff, we may not have that in the system yet. This is a guide. You don't have to use it verbatim. Oh, man. See, I knew that was going to happen. You sent him the video already?
Who?
Mark. Oh, he sent you something. All right, Yankees boo. Really? Oh, that's right, Brian. I know that you're a Boston fan. It's all right, Jake. I know that you're a Boston fan. I know. I'm finna cut him. All right. So with that, let's do this. Get ready. We're going to look at your stocks that you want. All right, so get ready to start typing your stocks in. I'm glad that some of you guys have made money on some of these trades. But again, the whole idea of looking at them is to bring them to your attention. So type some stocks in the room. I'm going to put in a few, not all of them. All right, SOXL, why I got the mic right here? It's a pain in my butt. Pats, P8. Yeah, I knew that was so messed up, Brian. That was so messed up that you made me type that in. I know you're giggling like a little schoolgirl right now. I know you are. That's a comma. I know you're giggling like a little. That is funny. TRBK, SGRY, RY. I don't know. SGRY got you. Comma BCC, comma GLNCY, comma AAPL, comma SEA, comma SEA. I need another one. We looked at Nikola already. We looked at Microsoft already. Facebook, comma ENPH, comma. I know you are giggling, Jake. Boeing, comma SGN, comma APPS, comma. We didn't look at Tesla today. We looked at other stocks in the EVs, but not that. TDOC versus, all right, let's go TDOC. And I don't know if we've got AMWL. We got it. We do have AMWL. That's another IPO. I'm glad we're all over some of these IPOs. Come a couple of more. NKE. Who's new? Chad. UPS. Who else is new? Suzanne. I already got Apple in here. Elliot. BTC for Bitcoin. Do you really want BT? I don't have BTC. I got BTCS. I don't have BTC. But I'll put in BTCS. All right. And Masro says frog. That's my last one for today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type in stock and Joey's. When Joey comes back, he's going to put in a link for everybody who I missed as far as stocks. You can get a free stock analysis report. Somebody remind me when Joey comes back, so he can put a link in there for free stock analysis report. All right, 3 months. Now I've seen in the comments on some of my videos, why does Glenn look at 3 months on a graph? Is he a trader? Is he a longer term investor? Listen, if I want to be longer term on a stock, I can look at a 1 year graph. All right. The reason why I like to look at a 3 month graph is because as a middle of the road, I like to put all of the trades from a middle of the road perspective. 3 months. Why 3 months? What happens every 3 months on the stock? Earnings. All right. So when I look at a stock, I've got that earnings picture in frame here because earnings is the biggest mover of a stock's price. So it gives me more than enough information to determine if the stock is trending enough for me to get into it from a long-term perspective, or if it's jagged enough to know that I want to get into it from a short-term perspective. So I think that even on a 3-month graph, I can get a good feel, like stocks. Stocks long. Well, the market's been a lot bullish, right? So the semiconductor on the long side has been doing what? Running. I like the 3 and the 8 as a way to get me in. And you know what I like about, what else I like about the 3 and the 8? That even when a stock pulls back, the 3 and the 8 keeps me from panicking. Look at that pullback. The 3 never went below the 8. Boom. And finally, when it did, I got out at a higher price. All right, so I love looking at the 3 and the 8. Right now, stocks L, the 3 is below the 8. I'm not ready to pull the trigger on it. RT is falling. Rising bearish volume as the stock's price is falling. So I'm not ready. If I'm in stocks, though, I probably should have been out somewhere in this time period when the 3 went below the 8, and that was on 9/4/2020. I love getting them, using the 3 and the 8 as a way to get in, but also using it as a way to get out. All right, DraftKings not better than Apple? Heck no. Apple is the best stock in the world. Hang time. Now, 3 months. Clean energy. Love that stock. What was the other stock that you showed me? REGI? These are 2 good-looking clean energy stocks. GRBK, which is green brick. Look at this graph on a 3-month basis. And what about the other one that you showed me? REGI, another good one. What's the RV on this stock? RS, not as good as REGI. RT is above 1. How come I don't have RV? The fundamentals may not be nearly as good as REGI, but GRBK, which I'm looking at right now, green brick, not a bad-looking play. Probably a little less money, too. Not a bad-looking play. If I'm in it, leave it alone. Stock's in an uptrend. One day is not a trend. Leave it alone. Let the 3 and the 8 come to you. I like that pick. I also like SGRY, Healthcare Instruments. That's another good-looking pick. I like that pick. Bottom left, top right. Stock, look at that 3-8 cross. I love, again, I can't stress enough how good looking at a 3-8 cross is. Look at that, getting in, great opportunity. I would still be in it. I like that stock. Amwell, better platform than TDoc as I practice medicine on both. So I'm going to take a look at them, Jeff, both of them. I'm going to take a look at them. BCC. Woo! I ain't feeling that. That stock's going down. The trend of RT is going down. The 3 is below the 8. The stock is still falling. If you're still in the stock, though, let me give you a line in the sand. I'll give you a line. And here's your level of support, sitting at 39.27. The stock is trading at 40.67. If you're not out of the stock, for whatever reasons you're not out of the stock, that's probably a good time for you to say enough is enough. The stock ran, it went sideways, it's falling hard. Building products, we just looked at the home builders look good. This stock is not a leader in that industry. It's more of a laggard in that industry. So just keep that in mind, all right? Next stock, Glencore Mining. Oh, be careful with mining. You know what's going to, what did I tell you? You remember what I told you what moves gold? Just like you know what moves oil, what moves gold? Anybody? What moves gold? Not Lululemon. That doesn't move gold. What moves gold? I know I've talked about it here on Trending Thursdays. The dollar. Nobody answered it. There, now you answer it, Mark, after I gave it to you. It's the dollar. The dollar is what moves gold. Now, as the stimulus looks like it's starting to run out, from a Fed perspective, remember we talked about that? Remember we talked about the story that said maybe the Fed is at the top of what they can do? If we don't get any stimulus from Congress, what do you think is going to happen to the dollar? It's going to fall down, go boom. Because nothing is propping it up, right? Chef says fear, panic. Well, that's another thing. But it's going to be, it's the dollar that moves it. So as I look at this, as we get closer and closer to still no anything being put out of Congress for a stimulus, dollar is going to fall, and that could be setting up for gold to rise. Notice that, though, the stock's a little bit in a sideways move. I'm not ready to pull the trigger until it can break above this 3-month high of $5.09. It's currently trading at 476. RT is above 1. Volume is starting to rise. I definitely would like to see the stock take out that 3-month high before I take it. Apple. I love Apple. I'm in Apple. After it split, I bought more shares of Apple. It's falling. I've got a level of the former level of resistance as my current level of support. All right, is my current level of support sitting at about $115, $100.15. The stock is trading at 109.20. I like the idea of giving a good quality stock like Apple more room to run. RT is still above 1, not by a lot. Stock's still considered to be in an uptrend. I don't think it's going anywhere, no inflation. You're talking about gold? All right, so if the inflation helps to push gold higher as well. But really, inflation goes back to that dollar, right? Higher inflation costs you more money to buy stuff, right? So that still comes in played on both. So if you're not in Apple, I'd wait. If you are in Apple, you do have a line in the sand, or you take the profits now. Facebook, falling, coming down to a level of support, sitting at the value of 247.67. The stock's trading at 251. It's just falling. I'm not ready to jump on board. Stock's officially in a downtrend with RT below 1 at 0.90. Facebook's not a good place to be right now. If you're in it, though, there's your line in the sand. If you're not a good time to be in it. ENPH, I've often loved this stock. It's a good, solidly run company. It's having a hard time getting above a level of resistance at 76.58. If you're in it, you're in a channel between that level of resistance at 76.58 and a level of support at 64.62. That's a lot of move, but the stock is definitely in that channel. If I'm not in it, I'd like to definitely break above that level of resistance first. If you are in it, man, it's tough to be in it and try to hold it in that channel. But that's a good line in the sand right here, either at 64.62 or giving it a little bit more room to the value of 58.94. It's totally up to you. Oh, Boeing. Boeing's been saying all year that they're doing better and trying to get the 737 MAX up off the ground. But Boeing is just, you ever heard the song, I'm going down, I'm going down. I'm very bearish on Apple. On Boeing. Very bearish on Boeing. And this stock's got to go make some move with some little bit of follow through. All right, it's just not happening, not yet. Now, big jump on Seattle Genetics. That's a biomedical. I'm wondering if that is in the coronavirus space. Was this an earnings play? Let's go see. No, it was not an earnings play. Earnings was back here. This was probably news-driven, and I'm wondering if it is in the coronavirus space. Well, the 3A cross, that's good. RT went above 1, that's good. If I'm not in it now, what are you eating? Oh, you didn't get me a lollipop. Oh, that's messed up.
Melissa gave it to me.
Oh, man. That's for not giving me a lollipop. I thought we were buddies. Oh, I'm going to punch you again. I went to the doctor today, but he didn't say I couldn't. I got to have a lollipop.
He told you? You said it was okay?
I'm mad at you. Anyway, if you're not in it, I'd like to see the stock go above that high first. See if it's still moving higher. Yeah. See if it's... Well, I don't want the lollipop that you licked all over. That's a coronavirus violation.
I'll put some hand sanitizer on.
I don't want it with that. I punch you again. All right, hand sanitizer on the lollipop, you're going to give it to me. That's crazy.
I'm trying to be nice.
That's crazy right there. That's cray-cray.
Right.
All right. I'd like to see the stock go above that level of that high. And once it does, which the high point is 178.21, I'd like to go 12 cents higher than that value. And once you're in it, you've got a good level of a profit target at 187. All right, so let's go see what happens with that. Joey needs sound effects too, Glenn. Nope, no sound effects for Joey. Nope, no sound effects for Joey. All right, apps, another good-looking stock, bottom left, top right. Look at that sideways move. Beautiful level of support at 2203. Look at it. Bounce, bounce, bounce. And all of a sudden, the 3-8 cross up, and look at the stock's price. A little bit of a bearish update. Sort of kind of a dichotomy of sorts, but it's hitting a new 3-month high today. If I'm going to get into it, I like the stock, I'd go 12 cents higher than the high before I pull the trigger. Always want to buy into a stock that's rising higher than the high. Merck to buy $1 billion Seattle genetic stake for oncology collaboration. So that wasn't even coronavirus. That was for oncology. That's for cancer stuff, right? There you go. That's what made the stock's price move higher. So it gapped up, ran up. This could be a little profit taking, but again, 12 cents higher than the high. That could be good news driving the stock's price higher. You guys ever think of doing a late night TV show? That'd be kind of interesting if we could. The Glenn and Joey Show. It would be just like that. The Glenn and Joey Show. That'd be great. All right. Apps I like. Again, make sure you're buying it higher than the high. Let's go to the next stock, Tesla. Tesla, with all of these EVs coming out, a lot of companies trying to give Tesla a run for the money, but understand, Tesla is the big boy. Tesla is the big boy, and everybody's gunning for Tesla, whether it's Nikola, whether it's NIO, whether it's Workhorse. Any of these EV companies, electrical vehicle companies, this is a hot space to be, but everybody's going after Tesla. Now, coming off of this high that happened on 9/1, the high was at 502.49. The stock's trading at 425. There's definitely a downtrend. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to draw that line, that freehand line, and we're going to keep our eyes on Tesla. Let's go see if Tesla can break above that level of the trend line, the downward trend that I drew. That would be your signal to think about getting into Tesla. Everybody on board with that? I like that it did bounce off a level of support, the 3-8 cross. If you're in it, leave it alone off the 3-8 cross, but I like the downtrend here. Let's see if Tesla, you know what else this is? Oh, sucky now. What else I got? I got us a wedge. How about that? I got me some wedge action going on right here, which is a consolidation pattern on the stock. It's going to have to break one way or the other. This could be an early determination of which way the stock is going to go. All right, so breaking out to the upside, the stock will have some upside tendencies. Breaking to the downside of this trend, it'll have some downside. So just keep that in mind with Tesla. All right, we'll keep our eye on that. TDOC. So TDOC, I did a story on TDOC a couple of weeks ago. When did I do that story on TDOC? Do you remember, Joey? I know you don't. When did I do the story on TDOC? I did, say, how many weeks ago? Like 3? Apple, Roku. Oh, when did I do that? Man, it must have been. When did I do that? Oh, no, I did it as part of Corona, didn't I? Yep. It was done on 9/2. There you go. You're right. About a couple of weeks ago. I did that on TDOC, on Corona stocks, and that was on 9/2, right? Let's go see what it looked like on 9/2. Let's go check that out. Dateline, 9/2. This is where we did our story on TDOC. All right. And look at that little dark cloud cover. Look at the stock after I did my story, of course. Glenn talks, and the stock goes down. But it's setting up again. It went down, found a level of support right here at 180.87. Now the stock's price is possibly getting ready to rise. I'd wait for the 3-8 to cross. So who told me? Was that Jeff or John talked about TDOC and the other company, which is AMWL? How about they're going to be right next to each other? All right, AMWL looks like it's a new, crap. Why is it not loading? I'm going to have a problem with AMWL. I don't know why it's not loading. I wanted to look at TDOC compared to AMWL, but for some reason it doesn't want to load. Error loading AMWL. Let's go see if I put it on a different graph. AMWL, I'm having a problem loading it, and I don't know why. I remember when Nike...
You kicked us off OBS. Way to go.
No, I didn't. I remember when Nike was one of the safest stocks in our database. And look at it running now. I don't know if people, because of stimulus, people are buying Nikes. I don't know. I don't have a real answer as to why Nike is going up, but it definitely is. Notice the pullback on the 3-8 kept you in it. Notice the pullback in the 3-8 still have you in it. RT still above 1. Relative safety on the stock is at 1.25. It's got a good safe value. Nike is a stock 1 year. Nike is a stock that I wouldn't mind holding. Look at that 5-year graph. Coronavirus, there you go. I wouldn't mind holding Nike. You know, it's been a buy or hold for the majority of this 5-year time. That's not a bad stock. That's not a bad stock. Leonardo says, how do you add the 3 and the 8 on the upper graph? Nope, the 3 and the 8. The 3 and the 8, to do that, right-click on price. Go down to add moving average. Go to exponential. I'll do it. There's a 3, add moving average, exponential. Scroll down. Turn the first 10 to a 3 by hitting the down arrows and 3, and then hit the next one down to 8, and then put them onto your graph. That's how you do it. Why are you fuzzy? I don't know. Why am I fuzzy? Does she need to refresh? Oh, okay. All right. Glenn, so that's how you add. That's how you add the 3 and the 8. That's how you add the 3 and the 8. All right. I'm almost done with my stocks. Put this back on a 3-month graph. Joey is yelling at me. UPS.
40 minutes ago.
Wow. Leave me alone. How about leave me alone? All right. So UPS was rising. Right now, UPS is just moving sideways. This is the air freight. So this is not a transportation air freight. I'd rather have you in a stock that's moving one direction or another. Right now, this is a sideways move. RT on the stock is great. I love that. Let the stock break out of this level of resistance at 166.78. Make sure you're buying into a stock that's rising. Now, a stock that's moving sideways, you may not be losing money, but guess what? You ain't making money neither, right? Volume is pretty steady. I'd like to wait to see if the stock can break out of that value of 166.78 before I purchase it, all right? Wow. Is this the Bitcoin crypto? Yeah. I did a story on speculative stocks, Bitcoin, weed, 5G. I did a story. I'm not a big Bitcoin fan, never have been. Over the last year, a lot of jaggicity in the equity curve. But when it runs, it runs. Look at that. When it runs, it runs, but you got to time those runs. So you know what's a good way to time those runs? Look for that 3 and the 8. Look for that 3 and the 8. That's a good way. Look at that run. Looking for the 3-8 to get out. That would have been a good winning opportunity. Most recently, the 3 did go above the 8 on BTCS. Oh, that's 724. That's not what I'm looking for. 724, and it crossed down on 811. Did you have an opportunity to make money there? Yes. Right now, I wouldn't touch BTCS. I wouldn't touch Bitcoin until I can see the stock 3 and the 8 cross and start moving back up. All right, that's the reason why. Iron Condor on UPS, absolutely. I like that play, Roger. With UPS sitting the way that it is, Iron Condor is a great way to make money on that. Great way to make money on that. All right, so Bitcoin, I'm not a big fan on, and I'm not ready. And, you know, I can use the VectorVest software. You're looking at the 3 and 8 to get in at the right time. Right now ain't the right time. All right, and the last stock I have is Frog. That's another new one. Software business, is that sort of like Snow? All right, which is also new in that space? Huh? I'm wondering if Frog is sort of like Snow. I'd have to look into it. But always remember that stocks that come out as IPO are buzz stocks. It's all about bugs. All about bugs. 11 years, still not a fan of BTC. Too late, bro. No, listen, Patrick. What I'm telling you is, can I time to get into BTCS at the right time? The answer to your question is yeah. How about I wait for BTCS when that 3-8 cross? So, and you know, I may not be a fan of a speculative trade, but can I help you guys make money on it from our VectorVest market time, from our 3-8, from our graphing package? Absolutely, Patrick. Look at that. So the stock on that 3-8 cross, it was at 18 cents. It crossed down at 22 cents. I made 4 cents on it. Yeah, listen, it depends on how much money you throw in behind it, how much money you made on it, right? Is that what you really, really want? If that, you know, I can go back in time and look at this. BTCS, look at that. You say I missed the boat. I missed the boat where? Where did I miss the boat?
Short side.
Oh, we keep getting disconnected. Sorry about that on, what's that thing called?
Yes.
OBS. All right, I'm getting ready to go. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for all of the comments. Keep commenting. I want to raise the comments. Thank you for everybody who shared this on your social media. I want you guys to do that every week. I want you to do that every week. Share this on your social media. We're growing our subscribership. If you're not a subscriber to the software, think about taking a trial for 99 cents. You can't beat that. 99 cents, take a trial. Use that YT link because that tells us that you're taking a trial from YouTube. So click on that link, take a trial, 99 cents. All right, thank you. I love doing these. Joey, high five. I love Joey. Joey's my producer. He does an outstanding job with doing this. He makes me look good, and we have a lot of fun. But VV Nation, you guys show up in force every week. Remember, put the link for Ron up there. I want Ron to see VV Nation show up in his webcast today. And everybody, when you show up in there, type in VV Nation. Let him see that VV Nation has come to support him in his free webcast today. All right, Joey is putting the link in there. Let the podcasters know it is VectorVest.com/challenge. I want you guys to really go out and support him and type in VV Nation. Let him see that VV Nation came out to support him. With that, folks, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, salam, shalom, namaste. We're out of here.